You can think about your dreams every day and night and write down your goals, but if you never take action, they're never going to happen. Today's guest is David Price. He is a mindset and goal achievement coach. In this interview, we dove deep into what it really means to take massive action, along with manifestation, law of attraction, and how it really works in our lives. It's not a bunch of woo-woo. It's just a matter of putting all of our energy, thought, feelings, and actions together towards one goal. So whether you're clueless about what you really want to achieve, you can't really decide on what it is, or maybe you know what it is, it's just you're struggling for that action piece and taking that massive action, this is going to be an incredibly valuable episode for you. If you like what you hear in this interview, definitely check out David Price. I put links to connect with him down in the description. Without further ado, let's dive into the interview. Hey, David Price, what's going on, man? How you doing?
Man, I am fantastic. How are things in your part of the world, brother?
Oh, excellent. Beautiful Petaluma, California. It's starting to get warm now, which I appreciate. Not when it gets too hot. This is like the perfect temperature. Springtime, my favorite.
Dude, I've been in California just a couple of times, but get me a room ready. It sounds wonderful where you are. I'm going to come hang out with you, and so let's make it happen.
Beautiful, man. You're always welcome to come hang. Cool, dude. So you're a certified professional life coach specializing in mindset coaching, goal achievement. I think it's such a great topic for people, especially when they're just considering starting out in an online business, or even if they're hitting those roadblocks and they're like, where's that next level for me? There's a lot to unpack here and it's going to be fun. But real quick, we were kind of talking real quick, like the entrepreneurial journey, especially if someone's just starting out, is going to be a whole heck of a lot harder than you think. And it's so true because I was guilty of that myself when I first started. So I would love to just kind of hear a bit more about your journey. You know, we don't have to go into too much detail, but just kind of like the roadblocks and how that applied to you.
Yeah, man. I was being interviewed a couple of hours ago on another business podcast, and they said, "So, have you had any challenges in your entrepreneurial journey?" I said, "I'm not sure I've had anything but challenges." Yeah, that's all I've had is challenges. Where's the good stuff, right? So, getting out of the gate to begin with is tough. We feel like we need to get everything, all the knowledge, and we need to get the logo right, the website perfect, the content, blah, blah, blah. And I tell people, man, just start putting stuff out there, man. Just start doing videos, start posting, start coaching, consulting, whatever you're doing, just do it. Because the way that you figure out how to do it well is by doing it, man. It's not by figuring it out. It's by doing it. So whatever it is that you want to do, start doing that thing. And you're going to get so much feedback and so much experience and so much interaction with people, and they're going to be telling you what you need to change and what you need to do. So way too many people are saying, okay, once I get everything lined up, I'm going to get started, right? And I love the name of that book, Ready, Shoot, Aim, right? That's what you do. If you're going to fire a gun, you shoot it, you see where it hit, and then you make adjustments, right? And that's what we ought to do in business. And so there's a lot of that hesitation, perfectionism, which perfectionism is just fear and procrastination. That's all it is, really. And so don't do that. Just start firing stuff out there, man. And, so I had a lot of mindset stuff. I'm not good enough, a lot of imposter syndrome. I've had that my whole life. Had a lot of that kind of stuff. A lot of fear, and a lot of people think we overcome fear by overcoming fear, and then you take action. It doesn't work that way. Take action. As you take action, you realize it didn't kill you, so you can keep taking action and keep moving forward, right? And so there's that aspect of it as well. But I think the main thing that I tell folks is, however hard you think it's going to be, multiply that by 50. However long you think it's going to take, multiply that by 50. However messy you think it's going to be, let's do 50 again. I had a gentleman call me a few years ago, and he said, I'm starting my own coaching business. He said, here's what I think is going to happen. I'm going to start in 6 months. I'll have 100 clients. And I went, whoa, time out. Pump the brakes. You're not going to have 100 clients in 6 months. It's just not going to happen.
I don't even think you'd want to have 100 clients. That's a lot, at one time, that's
dude,
like.
And what you just said, man, is perfect, because it happens in a way where we can grow with it. We can learn and adjust and grow with it rather than 100 clients at once. Now, what do? I couldn't have handled 100 in 6 months. I could barely handle 2. So yeah, man, what you said is right on. I love that.
Yeah, no, it's true. And I mean, this is kind of where I first started. I started out just kind of like spiritual life coaching. And then I went into productivity coaching because I felt more like a therapist in the spiritual life coaching kind of thing. It wasn't really resonating with me. More importantly, It's nothing against, spiritual life coaches. I still apply a lot of the principles in terms of listening to your intuition. So I went into productivity coaching, and that's where I started to learn more about like using systems and being more efficient with technology and your time. So that has really spilled into ultimately, like, I help content creators, people start their own online business from everything that I've learned, and bringing experts like you in to support them. And I think that it's so big because people don't really think about, they think about like, how can I get clients as fast as possible? But they don't think about the long-term strategy, which, is like, in my case, it's helping people with like passive income and that kind of stuff, and getting discovered where your business can run on autopilot for you. Not to say I don't still coach clients. I do have clients and I love coaching, but I think that people could really benefit from having that long-term strategy and the short-term strategy in the beginning.
Man, I mean, you nailed it, man. I mean, what we teach our folks is, we teach them to create, to design their ideal life, their ideal business. We get a vision, we write it out, we read it every day, we visualize it, but then we set goals, specific goals. We come up with action plans and we take action every day. So you've got the long term where you're headed, but it's just like taking a trip. I just got back from West Virginia this morning. And, I knew where I was going, but I had to make adjustments and turns and specific decisions along the way. So you've got to have both of those, man. And you said it exactly right. I love that. That's exactly it.
Yeah. So let's actually dive into that a little bit. I'd love to hear how we can put this together, but how would you go about helping people kind of like, I guess, get the courage to plan what it is that they would really love, and kind of the goal set, I guess, more of the visioning, and then we'll get into goal setting. So what kind of tips do you have for people that can really plan out and envision something that is the real ideal for them? Because I feel like people kind of shortcut themselves there.
There's no question. I guess the thing so what we teach is 4 pillars, and the second pillar is the second pillar for a reason, which is it's how to take control of your thoughts and words. I believe that God made the universe with his words. He spoke it. It came into existence. We're made in the image of God. Our words have power. And most people use their words against themselves. Why am I such a loser? How come I'm so fat? Why can't I ever do anything right? Blah, blah, blah. And so the first thing it's the second thing in the program, but early on in the program, we teach people how to take control of their thoughts and words. We deal with limiting beliefs, negative thinking, and that sort of thing. So we get a handle on that. And then once you've sort of done that and you've done the work around self-talk, now you can really believe that you can look at something bigger, because you're right. A lot of us are stuck. All we know is the past. And that's all we think we can do is what we've done. And people are afraid to think big, plan big, dream big. And so we really work a lot on that. But we just tell people, sit down with the big questions. Where do I want to live? Who do I want to spend my time with? How much money? What do I want to drive? What do I want to contribute to? All those questions, and then answer those questions, write it out, make this beautiful vision, put smells in it, feels in it, all the emotions in it, and just really, really feel that, read it, visualize it, really get that into your head, because the more that you do that, the more that your brain actually begins to accept that you can make that happen. So really, there's a lot of things kind of working together. The self-talk part, the limiting beliefs part, but also just the writing that out. And the more you read it, the more you visualize it, the more your brain actually begins to buy into the fact that you can really make this happen.
Yeah. And to kind of dovetail off of that, like, I think that it's so important, the buy into the fact, because you can give yourself affirmations. You can have this dream to hit 100 coaching clients in 6 months. And then your brain is like, bullshit, like
Right.
it's not going to happen. So you have to be able, and it does take time. I love the analogy of like the law of the garden. I forgot who exactly, I think it might've been Earl Nightingale who came up with it, but essentially this dream that you have is just a seed and you put it into the ground and you have to nurture it and give it love, just like a plant. And that dream is going to eventually start to sprout. But people put a dream to have this big dream and they never nurture it with their thoughts, their feelings, their actions, everything putting into it. And then it never sprouts. And they're like, oh, how come that dream like didn't have, or worse, they give up on it. So I think
100%.
Yeah. And I mean, if I think about all like the big dreams that I've had, like moving into this place was a dream of my girlfriend and I, and like when we first started, I was in a bunch of debt that I had. And I was just like, I want to live in this bigger place, and it was just a challenge for me to really believe it. But I just kept feeding that dream.
Yes.
And opportunities started to show up. My business started to grow more. And it was almost like those out of the blue moments that would come up. Yeah. And then my girlfriend and I ended up moving into the place, but it was kind of weird because like, it was yesterday, we're doing work outside in the front because now the weather's a lot nicer, like the patio area. And I was just kind of like, it's crazy. Like, this was just like a dream before. I would put pictures on my wall. I would look at it and be like, I'm going to make that happen. I did that for like 6 months, or more, being like, I want this place. And now we're here.
Exactly. That's exactly how it works. So, and it doesn't have to be like these big, massive, earth-shattering actions that we're taking. Whatever we're doing day to day, visualizing it, thinking about it, taking small steps toward it. I was just saying, when you were talking about the dream thing, a family member, and I talk about this a lot. She has a dream of going to the UK. That's her bucket list item, which it's mine as well. But she's got 4 young children. 3 of them have special needs. She and her family don't have a lot of money. And she's gotten really discouraged. And so she said, I'm just going to stop talking about it. I'm going to stop thinking about it. I'm just going to put that dream away. It's not going to happen. It's too much. It's not going to happen. I said, whoa. That's exactly the opposite of what you need to do. I said, you need to put pictures up. You need to follow airline ticket costs. You need to talk about it as much as you can. You need to be doing exactly what you're saying. So she said, okay, I will. She starts talking about it. Dude, I'm not kidding. Not long after she starts talking about wanting to do this, somebody walks up to her at church and says, we will keep your children for 2 weeks while you go to the UK and have your dream trip with your husband. Somebody else offered to buy her plane tickets to get her over there. Why did that happen? Because she did not keep her dream locked inside and say, oh, that'll never happen. I'm not going to do it. She put it out there. She talked about it. She thought about it, and she began to attract things to her that were going to make that work. I believe in the law of attraction, but the last word in attraction is action, brother. You got to get out there and do stuff, man, or it's not going to happen.
Well, yeah. And it's, there was some stuff when I was in my like spiritual life coaching where some of it felt kind of like quote unquote woo woo.
Yes.
It was almost like, it was kind of hard to wrap my head around. And I guess I'm more of like an analytical kind of person with like logic. But when I think about like manifestation, for example, I do believe, because I've experienced it time and time again, that if you have a worthy ideal in your mind, like this ideal life or trip to England or Europe, whatever it is, and you're constantly thinking about it, like you get obsessed with the idea and you can experience it to some level because your brain doesn't know the difference between what's real and what's imagined if we imagine it well enough. So we just get obsessed with it.
Yes.
And then action steps start to reveal themselves. And when you take those actions, it's like these crazy things start to happen. Like your friend, they're like, we're going to cover you, out of the blue, this thing just shows up. And also it taps into the reticular activating system, which, like if you want to get a red Honda, you start to see red Hondas everywhere. It's like you start to see the small details that materialize whatever that dream is that you have.
Exactly. And a friend of mine, in fact, a former coach of mine named Bart Baggett, has a book called The Magic Question, which I recommend to everybody. But he teaches these empowering questions. I was just talking to one of my clients a little bit ago, and I noticed that he was asking himself bad questions. And so he said, I've got stuff together at work, but I don't have it as together in my personal life. And he said, and so I asked myself, why can't I do at home what I do at work? I said, dude, that's your problem right there. The
Wow.
question you're asking is a disempowering question. You say, why can't I do it? And your brain gives you all the reasons you can't do it. I said, let's make that an empowering question. How can I quickly and easily learn to do the things at home that I do at work? When you ask an empowering question, what's a quick and easy way I can add $10,000 a month? Who can I meet today that will open up to me new opportunities? When you ask what my friend calls the magic question, which is this empowering question that gets the reticular activating system looking for answers, they just start showing up, man.
Yeah. So I think the biggest takeaway I get from that is like, instead of asking the why questions, we switch that question to a what or a how question.
Yeah, man.
So
those why questions are terrible.
yeah. And it's important to, I mean, if you ask like your spouse, like, why are you the way you are? It's like, is that really going to get you anywhere? Probably not. It's going to stir up some conflict.
Right.
But if you're like, what can we do to get around this? What can I do to support you in doing the dishes for me? It's like, oh, if I do this other thing, that you'd be more comfortable doing the dishes, et cetera, et cetera.
Absolutely. Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. So what are the other kind of, the pillars? You have a 4-pillar system. What are the last 2, I guess?
Yeah, we do. So the first one is take 100% responsibility for your life and everything in it. This is what changed my life when I was a hot mess for decades. And I was exposed to a book, The University of Success, which completely changed my life. But that's what that book taught me, was to take responsibility. That's the first thing. And then take control of your thoughts and words. The second, or the third rather, is to design your ideal life. And then once you've done that, now you're ready to begin to set goals, right? And so we teach effective, powerful goal setting by, first of all, setting a good goal, right? There's some really bad goals. I want to lose weight. I want more money. I want to be a better husband. Those are horrible goals because they're vague. You don't know if you got there, not right. Those are terrible goals. And so another way that people set bad goals, I had a client several years ago who said she wanted to make, to make her goal. She said, I want my goal to be, I want a better relationship with my daughter. I said, it's a terrible goal for 2 reasons. Number one, it's vague. Number 2, it depends on the cooperation of another person. I believe that we should never set goals that depend on the cooperation of other people. We should only set goals that we can control the outcome to, right? So I work a lot with real estate investors. And I believe that real estate investors should not set goals like, I will close on 10 houses this month, but that they should set goals like, I will make 100 calls a day. You can control the calls. You can't control the closes because that involves other people. And so we really work on setting effective goals, sort of a version of the SMART goal setting thing, sort of. And then, but the big thing, taking action, man. Just taking action, even if it's wrong, just do it. And the right way is going to show up as you do that.
I love that, of setting goals that don't involve, like, it doesn't rely on other people, like closing the deal or anything. It's very action oriented, to be like, I'm going to make X amount of steps today, or X amount of calls or reach outs or conversations or whatever it is that you're doing.
100%.
That's really powerful. I like that. A question I love to ask people is, why do you think, because we've been talking about this, been weaved throughout this entire conversation, is action, taking action, making things happen, just acting whatever you can. What do you think is the biggest hurdle for people that causes them not to take action and stay stuck where they're at?
Yeah, well, I think it's definitely fear. That's the main thing, is they're scared of what will happen if they take action and it doesn't work. Personally, I am much more scared of not taking action and staying where I am right now, or going backward. That's what scares me to death, is not taking action and moving forward. So I teach people that there are no wrong decisions. I think one way to overcome that is to realize that there are no wrong decisions. As long as something is legal, ethical, and moral, there is no wrong decision. What hangs us up is that we are afraid to make the wrong decision and go down the wrong path. There are no wrong paths. There are no wrong decisions, because down every path is blessing. Down every path is learning. Down every path is people that you're going to love that you met. And so there's no such thing as failure. Just take the road. Nothing says you have to stay on it, right? Like with you, and I love your story about you got into spiritual coaching and then you took a detour and went into productivity coaching. Mm-hmm. Now you do content creator coaching, right? Mm-hmm. But how did you get there? You didn't get there by sitting in your room for 6 months until you came up with the perfect coaching niche for you.
Right.
What did you do? You took action. You started walking. Then you turned. Then you turned again. Mm-hmm. Right? And so don't sit in your house and try to come up with the perfect plan and overcome fear. What overcomes fear is taking action, right? You didn't learn to swim and overcome your fear of water by reading a book about water and working on your mindset. Mm-hmm. You jumped in the pool and that made your fear go away. So you just got to take action and realize that's how fear is dissipated.
Yeah. Yeah. I always tell people, I think the biggest action that you can take is the one that inspires you the most. And it's like, if you have that vision in mind, you're like the reticular activating system. You have this vision in mind, you understand what the outcome that you want to achieve. And then naturally that gut feeling is going to show up in your solar plexus and your chest. And it's like, I feel like if I just do this thing, it's going to get me closer, and it keeps showing up. It's like, that's a sign that you should just take that action, even if it's imperfect, even if it's not the one that gets you to where the perfect thing that happens down the road. It's like, it got you to find that other perfect action step.
I will tell you, man, I spent $12,000 on, over the years, I've spent over $40,000 on coaching. And I tell people that to say that, first of all, people need coaches. You absolutely need coaches. But I spent $12,000 on a coaching program that promised to get me more clients. It didn't, but it got me something much more valuable. At the time, I was doing one-on-one, only one-on-one. I didn't know how to do anything else, but you can't scale one-on-one past a certain point.
Right.
What this program did was group coaching in a certain way. And so I noticed how they did their coaching. They did not get me more clients, but they taught me a better way to run my coaching program, which has been far more valuable. So even though I spent $12,000 to get this outcome, I didn't get that one. I got something much better. Mm-hmm. That was not the wrong decision, but because I was paying attention to what was going on, I was able to see a better lesson and apply that. And now it's just been great for my coaching program. So there's no wrong decisions, man. You're going to get something good out of everything.
Yeah. Either you win or you learn. There's no losing.
100%.
Yeah.
100%. Yeah.
Awesome, man. Okay. Well, we're going to wrap this up. Where can people connect with you, my dude?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure, man. Absolutely. So I'm on Facebook. This is my main hub on Facebook. My name is David Price. I tell people, if you look up David Price on Facebook, there's just this super handsome guy that shows up at the top of the list. I'm the guy right under him. So David Price in Morehead City, North Carolina. Love to connect with you, or you can email me at david@davidpricecoachinggroup.com. Love to connect and help out however I can, man.
Beautiful. Right on. Yeah. Check out David. This conversation was fun, man. A lot of synergy going on.
Love it.
I'm big on the mindset stuff. This is a lot of fun.
Yes, sir. I can tell.
All right. Yeah. Just take whoever's listening, just take one nugget from today and just practice it. Just apply the one that gave you some inspiration and is still sticking with you. Just act towards it in some way and see where that takes you. And if you want extra help, check out David Price. All right. That's all we got for you. Yeah. Run with this, act on it, and we will see you in the next one.